Hello and welcome to this late afternoon taste challenge. I have two American blended whiskeys, both at 40% alcohol. This is an old bottle, over 30 years old, I think. Calvert Extra, 100% blended American whiskey, bottled in Claremont and Frankfort, Kentucky by James B. Beam Distilling Company. I think it says on there Calvert Distilling, but it's not really, that's never been a company. It's always just been a brand. So Calvert Extra, blended with the finest whiskeys, of course. Introduced in 1963 by Seagram's Distilling. Then it was sold to Beam Distilling in 1994. They turned around and sold it to Luxco in 2015. So it's been passed around. It's had three different owners in its 63-year history. Now, I may not have enough to do this tasting, so this might result in a direct abort, like they said in Apollo 13, and we'll have to bring in another one. Here is Caliber. Caliber, perfect for crafting excellent cocktails. Blended whiskey. No, and neither one of these have an age statement. This is 58.1% grain neutral spirits, 41.9% straight whiskey. So it is a blend of straight whiskey and unaged spirits, but it has the highest percentage of straight whiskey I've ever encountered in an American blended whiskey. Except for this one, which is 100% straight. This is 100% whiskey. There's no grain spirits in this one. Some of these do exist, but they're not common. 100% blended American whiskey, blended and bottled by Calvert, Claremont, Kentucky, Frankfort, Kentucky, Jim Beam Company, James B. Beam. So there's no blend ratio because it is all whiskey. Now, what are the whiskeys in it? Is it corn, rye, wheat, malted barley? They don't say. They do not say. I found this looking very bad at International Market in Metairie, Louisiana. So I took it home. I washed it off very carefully with warm water and soap. Got it looking presentable. And they sold it to me for $8.99. Was it $8 or $8.99? I think it was $8. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's enough to do a proper challenge, but I'll just give it a little I'll give it a little chance, and then we'll move on. What's wrong? You coughing? You got something wrong with you? Probably hair stuck in her throat. Smells like charred oak whiskey. Now, why is it if it's 100% straight whiskey or whiskeys, why is it not called, and it's aged at least 4 years, why is it not called bourbon? Well, the problem, if one should call it a problem, because it's not really a problem, it's just the way they make it. The issue is that there's probably no predominance of grain. So it might be like, 45% corn, 40% rye, 15% malted barley, whatever. I'm just throwing that out there. I'll show you the website, the current website. It says meet the family. Calvert Extra, a true blended bourbon. Well, it's not a bourbon, but they're saying that if it was a bourbon, old a blended bourbon, but it says blended whiskey. That's a mistake on their website. Calvert Extra delivers an incredibly delicious, robust, and quality bourbon. Once again, it's not a bourbon, but leave it up to a liquor company to not know what their own products are. Bottle hasn't changed. The bottle design is identical to what I've got. The availability is probably the same, meaning you can't find it. I've found this like one time in my life. Now, John and Neely found the current Calvert. It's just called Calvert, and it's 70-30 blend ratio, 70% grain neutral spirits, 30% straight. We liked it. We tried it, and it was good. But that's a different product. Here's Calvert. Calvert, $6.96 for the American blended whiskey. Now, if you get the Canadian version, it costs you 2 cents more per bottle, $6.98. Or you can buy the handle, which is the better price per ounce, $11.96. Or you can go up to Canada and get the, you know what I'm saying. Get the one from Canada, $11.98, 2 whole cents more. That's from Walmart. That is a Walmart brand. It is produced by International Wine Association, I.W.A. I don't know why they call it wine. Limited. Come here. I already cut my leg this morning with your mania. They say it's perfect for on the rocks, sipping neat. I'm not too sure about that. Or making coals. I'm definitely sure about that. Come here. Why don't you calm down? She was so quiet earlier when I was being quiet. When I start talking, she gets wild. Show the cocktail. So this was introduced in the latter part of 25, around October 2025 by Walmart. Available today at Walmart, assuming you live in a town where Walmart sells alcohol or is allowed to sell alcohol. I think most states, they don't allow Walmart or Target to sell liquor, but some do. And Louisiana's one of them. Yeah, it smells like good whiskey, It doesn't claim to be Kentucky whiskey. Now notice it says American whiskey. That means what? Read between the lines. They're bringing it in from other states. Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, probably mostly Indiana. They're blending it, bringing it to 80 proof and bottling it. Are they buying it at auction or whatever? Yeah, probably. Probably. So it was never heavily advertised. Calvert, yeah, advertised. It was never heavily advertised, but it's around. It's been around for over 60 years. So heck, somebody likes it. Maybe only 12 people in the whole world, but somebody likes it. Taste. It's definitely like a prototype flavor. It's like this whiskey tastes like whiskey. You know what I mean? No, I mean it's just like so standardized. It's like every whiskey you ever tried at your grandma's house when you were a little kid, and they had those little chocolate candies with the whiskey in the middle. It's just like a standard flavor. And I don't mean that it's a bad flavor or it's an inferior flavor or it's an offensive flavor or anything like it. It's just standard. It tastes like American whiskey, if one should use that description. But medium body, mostly dry finish. It's nice. I like it. Would I buy it again? I would buy it again, actually. In a theoretical sense, at least, because I got so much more to do. But I would buy it again. But it's all gone now. $8 down the drain. It might have been $8.99. $8, $8.99. I can't remember, but it was an international market. This much I know for sure. Which is a fantastic liquor store and international food store. You can get Heinz baked beans from England. They're extremely expensive, but they're from England. Yes, they make Heinz beans in England. That's the ones they put in that English breakfast, which I saw at the airport, and it looked good. Sausage, beans, and other stuff. I was like, no, I'm not paying that kind of money for canned beans. I could make that at my house. Like hash browns. It was like basic, but I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm sure it was very good. But the airport, you're going to pay exorbitant prices. Captive audience, right? But I didn't eat anything. I knew they would feed us on the plane, and airplane food. It's okay. I didn't hate it. I was bored to death on that airplane. I was like, man, if I get back home safely, I'm never going back to Europe or Africa again. I want to be home. I can't stand sitting on this plane. Now, if I could go to Africa or Europe in 2 hours, like driving there, I would go all the time, look around, look at old monuments and all, but I can't take that long flight. Hawaii was about to kill me 2 years ago. 12 hours of misery. At least on the trip to Alaska, we had to play cards, but with some people, and it was still boring as heck. I got to play trivia, and I beat all the trivia games. I had so much time, I figured out how to beat it. And they were like, you're the number one. You're the number one. What did it say? You're the number one player in the history of this game on United Airlines. I'm like, well, I mean, if you're good at trivia and then you figure out how to game the game, I'm sure you are. But that being said, is the caliber worthwhile? It's worthwhile, but it can't compete with the Calvert. But why would it? Because the Calvert is 100% whiskeys, whereas caliber contains over half grain neutral spirits, not even aged. They don't even, I mean, they might store it in oak for 2 days, but it's not what we would generally call aging. So yeah, it's, but I mean, for $6.96, it's a winner if you're not too picky. Oh, there's that refrigerator again. I put it on mute so you wouldn't have to hear all that racket. Still works though. Never breaks. Well, it will eventually. I remember when I was a kid, you get a refrigerator, it would last like 35 years. Now you get one, you'd be lucky if it goes 10. I just go to Total Wine. Yeah, Total Equipment and More. The Home Depot. Whatever's the cheapest one, because my father had one, he paid like a premium, super premium refrigerator, like thousands of dollars, and it lasted like 9 years. I was like, what happened to your refrigerator? It went out. The repairman said it would cost more to repair it than it was worth. I was like, well, it's kind of an argument for getting the cheapest one, because the cheapest one I bought over the years, it at least lasts 10 years. I had one from RCA one time. Can you imagine that? It was an RCA refrigerator. That was like the brand name, RCA. And I was like, isn't that a record company and radio company? But it was a refrigerator. But the one I have now is a Hot Point from General Electric. I think it's made in Shreveport. General Electric, they have a big factory in Shreveport, Louisiana. But anyway, caliber, it's fine, but it can't compete with Calvert. Nah, no chance. Now, this wasn't much of a challenge because I didn't have much left. The bottle's empty, but hey, perfect timing. You can probably find it. Maybe call the company. I think they have a contact number. You can call them, ask them, where can I find it? They might tell you. I know Buffalo Trace is really good about that. If you call Buffalo Trace and say, look, I'm looking for this liquor, they'll say, wait a minute. They'll look it up. They'll tell you where to go. They'll tell you who has it, when's the last time they had it. and so forth. So they're very helpful. They're not, Buffalo Trace is really cool about that, helping you track down stuff. So, all right. I'm going to bring in another one, but it's going to be, it's another Beam. I remembered another Jim Beam product, James B. Beam Distilling product. Yes, they make a blended whiskey. The components change a little bit. Like the ones I found is 75% grain spirits, but the ones you normally see is only up to 80% grain neutral spirits. The one I have is aged 2 years, but some of the bottles you find, it might say 3 years, so you got to look. But I forgot to check the components when I was at Dornax the other day because they had small and large bottles of it. But it could vary batch to batch, season to season, but it's basically pretty basic. But I'm going to do that in a few minutes. I'm going to set that up and we'll come right back because I barely sipped anything. And the winner, clearly Calvert Extra. And it is extra because it's all whiskey, no grain spirits, which could become whiskey if you let them age in oak barrels for a couple of years, charred oak barrels or uncharred, depending on the type of whiskey. All right, so that's the end of that bottle. Thank you, Calvert. And all right, see you in a few minutes.